Thousands of names are etched into the pages of history, but some names cut through the dust of time and remain just as radiant today. Cleopatra, a name, a woman, an empire. History called her a harlot, it called her a goddess of beauty. But is that the truth? This is the story of the woman who resolved to bring a power like Rome to its knees. This is the story of Egypt's last queen who surrendered to death but never bowed for her kingdom. Egypt, 69 BC. Alexandria, at that time the wealthiest center of knowledge and science in the world. Here a princess was born, Cleopatra VII. She was the heir to the throne, but her family was steeped in blood. Her father Ptolemy XII taught her that no line was too far to cross for power. But what Cleopatra learned was this: an empire is won not by the sword alone but by the mind and the heart. She was not merely Greek. While her predecessors scorned learning the Egyptian language, Cleopatra learned the language of Egypt, adopted its gods and goddesses. She was fluent in 9 languages. She was masterful in mathematics, astronomy, and oratory. At the age of 18, she ascended the throne only to be betrayed by her brother and driven out of her own country. A young queen, exiled, surrounded by enemies, but Cleopatra did not know how to accept defeat. She saw that Rome was divided between 2 powerful leaders, Julius Caesar and Pompey. This was her chance. Wrapped in a carpet, she appeared before Caesar in the palace of Alexandria, not to surrender but to offer a deal. "Restore me to my throne and I will give you Egypt's boundless riches." Caesar, the most powerful general in the world, was captivated by her intellect and her courage. Their love gave birth to an empire and to a son, Caesarion. Now Cleopatra was safe. But in Rome, this alliance ignited like fire. Plots were hatched to make Caesar king, and then 44 BC. Caesar's assassination, a body pierced by daggers. Cleopatra's world collapsed once again. She returned to Egypt, but this time she knew without Rome, Egypt was incomplete. She gambled again. This time her target was Mark Antony, Rome's warrior, Caesar's right hand. Cleopatra prepared a barge so magnificent that its fame spread across the entire Mediterranean. She came dressed as Venus, the goddess of love. Mark Antony, a soldier at heart, became a madman for that love. He divorced his Roman wife for Cleopatra and defied the world. Cleopatra dreamed of a vast empire, a union of East and West. But in Rome, another power was rising, Octavian. He inflamed the Roman people by branding Cleopatra a witch and a corrupter. War was inevitable. 31 BC, the Battle of Actium. The forces of Egypt and Rome stood face to face. This battle was Cleopatra's greatest defeat. Mark Antony made a fatal mistake. When he saw Cleopatra's ships pulling back, he followed, abandoning his own fleet. Defeat was certain. Returning to Alexandria, Mark Antony received false news that Cleopatra had killed herself. Overcome with grief, he fell on his own sword. By the time he reached Cleopatra, he died in her arms. Now Cleopatra was alone. Octavian's armies were at the walls of Alexandria. Her son was murdered. She knew she would now be dragged in chains through the streets of Rome. She was a queen. She refused to live in humiliation. August 12, 30 BC. Legend tells that she pressed a venomous serpent and asked to her breast. When the Roman soldiers burst into her chamber, they saw Cleopatra dressed in golden robes, peaceful as if sleeping. But she was gone. Egypt's 3,000-year-old empire ended with her. Rome swallowed Egypt, but Cleopatra's story did not die. They called her a harlot, they called her a liar. But the truth is this: she was the only woman who dared to challenge the most powerful empire in the world. She lost, but she never bent. This is the immortal story of the woman who changed history forever.